from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of people who people who I don't know. I was trying to think of something to say, and then everything my sleepy edits were saying, I think you could skip around. So instead, I just made a couple utterances. For something of utterances. What's ungent utter? I don't think we have ungent utterances around here. Is an ungent like a solve? I guess we don't have urgent utterances. I guess my utterances may be ungent. Let me actually look that up. Welcome to Sleep With Me, by the way. The podcast that's here to keep your company and take your mind off so you could fall asleep. When I tried to look it up, it's just, it looked up the definition of ungentleman. Oh, yeah, ungent is a semi-solid preparation similar to an ointment used to soothe, heal, or protect the skin in particular. The term ungent can also be referred to as an ignoble, not of kingly lineage. I mean, I guess that's correct. This podcast is not a noble. It serves a noble purpose, but it is not. It is not. I don't proclaim any lineage. In fact, I go very rarely in a straight line. But welcome to Sleep With Me again. This is a podcast, as I said just a few seconds ago, actually a couple minutes ago. It's meant to keep you company, take your mind off so you could fall asleep. This is just the very beginning of the show. But the podcast it's a little bit different. So just give it a few tries. It's really friendly. I'm just here to try to help you out, help you fall asleep in an indirect way by hanging out with you in the deep, dark night. So see how it goes. If you're new, give the show a few tries. What we got coming up right after this is support. So the paying for the show is optional. Then a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then after that will be a bedtime story, or episodically modular series, Big Farm in the Sky, Get Besos PI, which I recorded another intro for yesterday, but that ended up it's going to be for an episode about sea noodles. So that kind of happens sometimes. So welcome to the show. I really hope I can help you out. If you're new, you listen from time to time, you're just going through something, don't worry. If this podcast changes your life on a regular basis, these next messages are actually for you because that's who we make the show for. Because if the podcast helps you out 3, 4, 5, 6 nights a week, 20, 30 days a month, we really could use your help back. And here's the ways you can say, man, yeah, this podcast makes my life so much better. How can I help this show that makes my life better? These are the ways.
Taking care of your eyes shouldn't be a hassle. That's why Warby Parker is a one-stop shop for all your vision needs. Our prescription glasses and sunglasses are expertly crafted and unexpectedly affordable. Stop by a nearby store or use our app to virtually try on frames and get personalized recommendations. Did we mention we offer eye exams and take vision insurance too? For everything you need to see, head to your nearest Warby Parker store or visit warbyparker.com today. That's warbyparker.com.
All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. And I'm excited to tell you about my Helix mattress. You know, I took the Helix quiz after I moved at helixsleep.com/sleep. And I got matched with an amazing mattress that fits my sleep needs, my feel preferences. And every winter night, I'm cuddled up in there. I am so cozy. How about you and your mattress? Do you have that kind of same relationship where every night you say, "Hey, boo, I can't wait to see you," like a mattress that fits your needs? What do you want in a mattress? What's going to make you comfortable so that you could drift off into dreamland? That's what Helix has figured out, because you go to helixsleep.com/sleep. You take that Helix quiz. Helix matches you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress so easy. It brings such peace of mind. Helix mattresses are award-winning beds, not just my favorites, but they've been tested and reviewed by experts like Forbes and Wired. And that Helix mattress comes straight to your door. Free shipping in the U.S., And I know I'm sleeping good in my Helix. I just don't know about you and the mattress you have right now. Maybe it is time for an upgrade. And now is the perfect time because, of course, Helix has a deal for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 27% off site-wide during the President's Day sale. Now through March 1st. This offer is exclusive for listeners of Sleep With Me. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for this exclusive offer, 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and I want to let you know about another Sleepy podcast if you haven't heard about it before, I'm always talking about it. So if you're looking to add something to your sleepy mix, you got to check out Calm History. You know, would you like to learn more about the history for mining for coal, salt, and gold as you fall asleep? If so, you got to check out Calm History. It's done by my buddy Harris, who will soothe you to sleep as you learn about Florence Nightingale, hot air balloons, and the Klondike Gold Rush. And there are even episodes about the history of, like, fictional forest-based friends, Charlie Chaplin, the Titanic. And all you need to do is search in your podcast player for Calm History, CALM History, or use the link in our show notes and check it out. That's Calm History. Thanks, everybody. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your Nodderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And hey, the thing I've been talking about lately is like there's ways to support the show beyond the sponsors and supporting the show directly. If you're an occasional listener, right? If you're a new listener or you can't afford to support the show, follow the show on your podcast app of choice. Make sure to like or comment if your app allows that, and say hi. Spread the word about the show in person when it comes up, or let people know about it. Go ahead right now. Follow the show on your podcast app right now. Then you get the latest episodes and stuff like that. Great. Yeah, spread the word when you can, or sign up we're relaunching our referral program. It's gonna be based with like live stream get-togethers every once in a while. We're gonna make it more fun. You could sign up for that. sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, REFER. Thanks, and what do you say we get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing? I still have ungent on my mind. An urgent ungent. Urgent ungent. That sounds like that was a newsletter about. It was too frequent. I said, I don't have a lot of ungent urgency. I mean, when I need ungents, I guess it's not even urgent, because usually ungent's something I think about probably closer to bedtime. But that newsletter, I think, was designed to create a new vision of ungent urgency. How to revitalize, and I say, okay, salve, bomb, ungent, salve, is that one syllable? Balm, ungent, I don't know. I mean, what about bespoke unguents? I mean, if there's, I guess like most unguents, I think unguents existed before before the big brands got in there. Has there ever been a big ungent? I mean, I guess I'm the biggest ungent of all. Anyway, welcome to Sleep With Me. Are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast to put you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do, unless I get distracted, which I have already a few times, is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever is keeping you awake, or keeping you from getting the rest you need. It could be thoughts, things on your mind, feelings, like anything coming up for you emotionally, physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something. You could be in the middle of something. And whatever's going on, I'm here to kind of help out. And people work different schedules. You could have something big coming up. You could be getting over something. And the reason I kind of talk about that stuff is so you know that I'm here to help you out, and that I kind of get it, tossing, turning, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, trouble waking up early, whatever it is, or all those things or none of those things. I know what it's like when I say it's the deep, dark night for me and how it feels. And if it feels anything like that for you, or if it feels different but unpleasurable, right, or uncomfortable, I'd like to try to help you out because I know what my discomfort and my satisfaction around sleep can be like. And even if yours is different, I'd still like to help you if I can. But here's the other good piece of news I like to point out in the intros. This show, in the past couple of years, has gotten big into, something that's different. It's not ever going to be celebrated. Like the next great Ungent. That was my reality show I pitched. Never went anywhere. The next great Ungent. They said, no, we pass on that. I said, okay, well, if you get a scrape, you'll be looking me up. But so, wait, what's I saying? Oh, why do I go through? Oh, the past couple of years, we've gotten big on this idea of passive, or you could do it actively, of rooting for other listeners and across the deep, dark night, sending them, you're rooting, you're cheering for them, you're hopeful for them. And I don't know if you're new or you're just coming back to the show or you just need it. You've just been feeling, man, I need somebody rooting for me that gets how I feel right now. There's enough people listening around the world that there is someone listening right now that not only gets how you feel and not only has been through something similar, but they're rooting for you right now. They're in their bed or they're doing their wind down routine and they're thinking fondly of you. And they're hopeful that this podcast can help you out or guide you to another podcast that might help you out. And that's what we're about on the show, really. That's what I'm here to do, is kind of be... I don't know, to kind of activate that first part. You get rooted for, and then ideally, as this podcast helps you on a regular basis or you return to it when you need it, you're rooting for other listeners. You're thinking of them fondly and kindly in the deep, dark night. So what else do you might want to know about other than that? Well, the way the show... the reason we're doing that, not only because we get it, because you deserve a good night's sleep, but you deserve a bedtime where you could get the rest you need so your life is more manageable without the rigmarole and the tossing and turning. Where if you get the rest you need on a regular basis, maybe you're out there in the world flourishing, because that's what we really need is you out there in the world flourishing. Makes our world a better place. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night, use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to get mixed up to help you out. But at first, when you get here, if you're new or you've only listened once or twice, this show can be quite grating. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's normally different than what you expected. Because maybe you found this show through a recommendation or a search and you're having trouble sleeping, and maybe you've been having trouble sleeping for a long time. Or maybe you have some non-ungent urgency, to get some rest, and you're like, man, I thought this was a sleep podcast. What's going on? You're just talking about almost nothing. And that's most people's experience when they get here. I mean, I would be confused. I would be skeptical. I would be doubtful. And so... all I can say is give the show a few tries. That's what most regular listeners said. It took 2 or 3 tries for me to realize, he is talking about something and nothing. He's serious about ungent and urgency and under, his book of poetry he never wrote, From Under the Ungent. It was written from, my writing poetry as a scrape. The poetry of fan fiction poetry of a strawberry from a summer slide on my the side of my thigh, from under the ungent. That was a collection of that. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe we should have done it as like a contribution thing, collection of other people's poems. We should just come up with a title. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Let me know if you're interested. What was I saying? I never made. Oh, and then people are like, "Oh, wait, he's serious." Okay, I fell asleep. I don't know what he was talking about. I think he was talking about solving solves. His mystery series he never wrote, or baffling bombs. 1001 facts about bombs you never needed to know. Yeah. Or his thing, 1,000 tricks you play on if bombs ever become sentient. 1,001 party tricks you could perform for your bomb overlords. Or if they come from another planet. See, what are you, a goo? No, we're bombs. We're sentient. We're from planet Ungent, believe it or not. I mean, your language, that's what it is. And yeah, the royal family threw us out. We're sentient bombs. We're not a goo, not a blob. We're bombs. Wow, are you into poetry at all? Because I think I have something for you. But that's party tricks you can perform for your bomb overlords. It was called Baffling Bombs or Baffling the Bombs. That was a sitcom based on that book. Because at some point they say, okay, we got to come up with programming for these bomb beings. That was an easy connection. Yeah, bomb beings. That's what they are, bomb beings. Some would say they're bomb-based beings, but they're actually not bomb-based. They're just bombs, because bombs-based. Bombs base is not bomb. It's water and other things. Scooter has no idea. And, yeah. So, is there any miasma in there? Just so I could make sure I get used to my classical minor. No, spiritual miasma is the way it's been described in their poetry. As best we could come up with an interpretation of it. Okay, maybe we could get that in the Poetry Quarterly I came up with from Under the Ungents. Possibly, but you probably should get introducing your sleep podcast. Oh yeah, thanks. So we send our voice across the deep dark night. Oh, most people don't. Oh, when you get here, yeah, you're gonna be like, what is he going on about? Ungents still bombs? Yeah, bomb beings. He believes that there could be bomb beings that he might be working for one day. And see, I'll be ahead of the curve. See, all this overthinking finally paid off when the bomb one landed the ship, more of a vessel, interplanetary vessel, and a vessel for bomb beings. So most people don't like the show. No, some people, believe it or not, some people never like me or the podcast, and that's okay. And I'm saying that because it's obvious, right? That this show's for the people it works for that are like, I had no idea I was looking for this kind of content that's mildly humorous and somewhat strange. And it's a person who has a vocabulary. He's verbose. His understanding of the words may be not complete, but he certainly has words in his head. And yeah, it's for your benefit. So just give the show a few tries. If it doesn't work out, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you has other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff. We introduce tons of people every month to other sleep podcasts because you still deserve a good night's sleep, even if you strongly dislike me. That's fine. I still hope you fall asleep and get some good sleep because, yeah, this is very niche content. But when you find that you're like, wow, I didn't know. Pondering the I wish there was I could think of an ungent word that's, P, but meandering the I don't know. I should probably keep going with the intro, or otherwise this will be a whole episode. So most people don't like me. This is also a podcast you just barely listen to, kind of like background noise, TV show streaming under a pillow, or on in the other room, or something you're listening to but not paying attention to, or a friend who's talking and you say, hey, just tell me about this stuff. I'm not really going to pay attention, but I'll kind of pay attention to you. So there's that. So it's a show that you kind of tune in and tune out of. It's a sleep podcast, but I'm not here to put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. So there is no pressure to fall asleep with this show. I'm going to be here over an hour to keep you company and take your mind off stuff so you don't have to worry about when you're going to fall asleep. I'm going to be here for the people that can't sleep at all, or who need a break during the day, or who are not listening. I'm here for everybody, whether you're listening or not, because that's my job. You wake up and you need to listen, you can. If you don't need to listen to me, you just need to hear me rambling and mumbling, droning on and on and on. I'm here. And if your needs change, that's why we put out so much content. Because my job is to be your boar friend, your boar bay, your boar sib, your neighbor, your borbie, your boarman, your Boris Borloff, your chairman of the boards, your best boar friend forever, to keep you company in the deep dark night. The only other thing I like to run through is the structure of the show. We structure the show in a very specific way to benefit the maximum amount of people we can. So I just want to run through that. Like, everything we do starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen and welcomed in, and you say, oh, okay, I can check that out. Then after that, support. So the paying for the show is optional. Like, really, the people that support the show, you don't need to unless the podcast changes your life on a regular basis. But the people, when the people that the podcast change their life, support the show and support the sponsors, it gets to be here for everybody else. That's the wonder of Sleep With Me, of Sleep Podcasts and of podcasts. Everybody wins. When the people like that get the most out of it, give back. So, like, yeah, if you're a new or occasional listener, you don't got to worry about it. Then, after the sport, totally separate from the sport, is a show within a show. The intro of the podcast is around 15 to 20 minutes long, where I try to explain what the podcast is. And this is a pretty clear example, this one. And then I go off topic a bunch of times because something catches my attention that's not particularly interesting to anyone, to most people other than me. And then my brain says, well, what about if they came from another world? And I say, wait a second, so they're bomb-based beings? No, they're bomb beings. They're not bomb. Oh, okay, it makes sense. Oh, yeah, I could come up with some books for them. I mean, I'll never publish them. The bomb beings are like, oh, you will. That's a commitment. You made a commitment to us. And I'd say, okay, sure, like, whatever, as long as I have, some kind of special, oh, yeah, we'll give you a special privilege. Never mind. I don't need to know. Like, I'll do it for the love in my heart of bomb beings, or bomb-based beings. If there are any bomb-based beings, by the way, I'm not excluding you. So, bomb base, can you come in? Bomb base. I don't know why that just popped in my head too. So that's what happens during the intro. The intro is I follow a structure that's meant to kind of help you out, right? Like, and say, hey, this is what happens with the podcast, and this is what to expect. But it's different every time because whatever keeps us awake, at least in my opinion, it needs variety, something familiar and something different. So every intro is different. It's also a time we kind of spend together as a community. There is a tiny percentage of people that fall asleep fast, and those are the people we need the most support from. But other than that, most people are getting comfortable, winding down, getting ready for bed, doing some chill activity, petting their pets, doodling, journaling, whatever it is, to ease into bedtime. Because that's what really works most of the time for me, is having a wind down. If you prefer something without intros, you get every episode comes out at the same time on Sleep With Me, plus just the stories. But we also have a story-only podcast that's free in every podcast app called Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me. But most listeners like this easing into bedtime, having a buffer. So that's what the intro is. That's why it's 15 to 20 minutes long. That's why every episode has a new intro on it. Then there'll be support. Then there'll be our episode, and that'll be our episodically modular series. And that'll be it. All told, be here about an hour plus, and I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. I yearn and I strive. I really hope so does a bunch of other people, and really hope we can help you fall asleep. If this podcast does really make your life better, like you say, man, without this podcast, my life would be slightly less better. If you could think about supporting the show in one of these ways we're going to talk about here, it'd be a huge help for us to continue making your life slightly better, or a lot better. I don't know. So here you go. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, ZocDoc. And raise your hand if you're a bit of a procrastinator like me. You put off setting up that dental cleaning appointment, or honestly, any kind of appointment, or even like searching for making an appointment, figuring out even how to do that. It's not easy, right? You want to put it off because there's a lot of barriers, it seems like, to making it easy. And here's the thing. I'm so happy that we work with ZocDoc now because I have new insurance. And I know right now in my hands I have the ZocDoc app. Oh, by the way, ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. And we're talking about booking in-network appointments with over 150,000 providers across all 50 states. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or one of the other 200-plus specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the care team that's right for you. And it's so easy to use. I'm using it right now. I just put in my insurance information. I'm looking for a new dentist. So I could search through here. I can start reading the reviews. They're verified patient reviews, so I can get a sense, hey, am I comfortable with this person? Then I can get the appointment set up right in the app. No calling, no waiting on hold. So if ZocDoc makes my life that easy, think about what it could do for you. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/sleep to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message.
Museums are more than places we visit on a field trip. Across the country, museums protect our shared history, care for wildlife and collections, strengthen local economies, support job training, and spark curiosity in people of all ages. Right now, you can help make sure museums stay strong for future generations. Museum Advocacy Day is a national moment when people contact Congress to ask for continued support for museums and the federal agencies that fund them. Learn how to take action at aam-us.org and tell your representatives that museums matter to education, to communities, to the economy, and to our democracy.
Everybody, welcome to our episodically modular series, Get Besos, Big Farm in the Sky, PI, which, if you're new or you're coming back or you never heard one of these episodes, or you never heard this part of the show, don't worry. I'm here for you. I'm here to tell you what's going on and meet you where you are. So, what's an episodically modular series? That's a series with we put out about one episode a month. It has recurring characters, and the episodes are related to one another, but you can listen to them in any order. Not only, the last episode we put out, we caught you up on everything that happened. So it's kind of like everything. So what is this, episode 18, I believe? So episodes 1 through 16 could be prequels. Then you could imagine we took a series break and they said, well, or whatever, it changed hands. Time passed, many years passed, and then we put out 17 to catch everybody up on what had happened in the prequels, and now we're putting out episode 18. So I have a general feeling that things are getting close to wrapping up. So, yeah, it's an episodic mantra. It means you could listen to it in order, but you don't need to, or you could listen to it out of order, then in order down the road, because it's here to keep you company and put you to sleep, and all the episodes will be available for at least the next 4, 5, 6 years in this feed. So definitely access it when you need to. Get Besos, Big Farm in the Sky, PI specifically is a tale about, how do I explain what it is? The Get Besos part is about, once upon a time, two best friends were in the beige world, which is a post-earthly existence that tends to be dull and not a lot going on. Very, I'd say kids 4 or 5 years ago to say mediocre, okay. Well, not even okay, less than okay, tolerable. They were there. Two best friends, Richie, RW, and James, JC, he could even go by. James Cash, and Richard Warren and James Cash. And they were both there. They were both formally this is about all fiction, parody fiction, satire, bedtime story. But once upon a time in this fictional realm, they were titans of retail industries before my time, even as the teller of the beginning of this podcast. Then they, I think probably they entered this another realm. Then their, retail changed. And in this fictional story, they're there in the beige realm and they become aware of the guy who became a titan of retail currently, or in fictional realms only. And Richard said to himself, I don't like this. This guy's tarnished our reputation. We were titans of retail industry to be remembered forever. Now retail's totally changed. And he did not view it as, he didn't view it as progress in his, it wasn't progress for his ego. And so he said, I got to put it, we got to go to Earth. This guy just happens to be named Jeff Besos. And so they're like, we got to go there and we got to give him a stern talking to, this Jeff, about retail. I don't know that Richie has any, well, anyway, I don't need to comment on it, any positive solutions, but so they did that. Now, where the Big Farm in the Sky PI comes in is that, this particular season, this has happened over and over again in the history of Sleep With Me. They also needed help from the Big Farm in the Sky PI because this particular season, the reason they wanted to give Jiff a stern talking to was Richie had already given Jiff a list of other famous figures in post-earthly existences that he didn't like how it turned out for them. Even if he didn't, some of this is a stretch, but this Richie, he's a stretch. For example, he imagined that Inspector Javert from Les Mis, the musical version, I believe, but though it could be the movie musical version, that after he existed, he probably was in a non-positive post-earthly realm, even though he's fictional, and then he didn't like that idea. So he said, whatever non-positive post-earthly realm Inspector Javert happened to have to be required to visit, we're going to go get him and take him out of that post-earthly realm. Now, a couple things that came up. Well, one, there's been other seasons of this. So it turns out the universe and existence is incredibly resilient. So this messing around, it probably does have a limit, hint, but another thing, at least in this thing, is that, by believing that Inspector Javert is living a post-earthly realm, it appears so far that it's kind of like sculpting clay, and then if clay could become sentient and conscious and have an entire history connected to it. So probably not the best example, but sculpting clay in your mind with some sort of cosmic spiritual energy, it may be more or even less accurate. So it turns out by doing that, Inspector Javert also became real and became, so then they went and, so that was just one of the episodes. Now, at the same time, we realized that Jiff is actually working, he was supposed to go looking for people like Inspector Javert. Richie gave him a list, but Richie only had one copy of the list, which he gave to Jiff. And Richie does not remember the list that accurately. But meanwhile, while Jiff was collecting or meeting up with the people on this list or not, he was also working on a restructuring of all post-earthly existences, apparently with a really idea of economies. I don't know what this means. Economies of scale, capital, I don't know if there's any amortization going on, but like somehow leveraging the workforce in the post-earthly realms for the benefit of maybe his company. I don't know. Something like that, like combining, using the post-earthly workforce, post-earthly realm workforce for the benefit of people on Earth, or at least for him, his benefit. So right now, I think the main character, the Big Farm and the Sky PI, will catch us up any more than that. If you're not already comforted by all this, it's fiction and parody and satire. Just in case I need to say that, make it clear that I may or may not know what those words mean as well. So I'm glad you're here. And now, for the very first time, I'm in a New York state of mind, not just a New York state of mind. But he's in a New York state of mind. And when I say the Leafs were making more than peeps when he arrived in town, this is our Hollywood announcer. And I heard more than a peep from Leaves when he, I don't know if he traveled here totally on what he would say is stored solar energy. Solar energy, thank you. But if there's a I think he probably would be the first person if he had, I mean, this would be another thing. I don't think he has the personality capital, but if he had limitless capital, I bet you he'd say, you remember those wind up cars with the fan at the back? Yeah, we invented that. I traveled across the country in a car with, a propeller on the back of it that's run by rubber bands. And somehow recyclable energy that winds the rubber band, which probably could be flow of water or wind or both. He just gave me a finger thing that makes me feel like he already invested in that somehow. But without further ado, for the first time here in the room that was like, it could be called the mud room, where I'm recording currently, but I've been told that it's not insulated, so I won't be able to record here for very much longer. So this may be his first and last appearance right now will be for sure, where I thought we would record all our episodes, but turns out I didn't check that it was insulated, and it's not heated because it's not a mud room, because this was built, it's a connecting, a room that connects the garage and the house. He's laughing hysterically. It's our Hollywood announcer, Mr. Antonio Banderas. So friends beyond the binaries, the ladies and gentlemen, the boys and girls, it's time to get Besos, Big Farm in the Sky. Yeah. And yes, Scott and I will be peeping some autumnal leaves soon. And walking in the rain. Good night to friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah. Wow, that was perfect. No wonder Leafs do more than peep when you get in. Like the Leafs are peeping. Like there's a difference between auditory peeping, and we've talked about this, or the sound of peep. They're all like some leaves are probably falling off early, because they're internally they're peeping themselves. Like, I mean, I don't know how he's laughing at that. I actually made him laugh. But they're not, I mean, that's just like a term, because they're not actually looking at themselves in a joyous manner. But they are aware that Antonio Banderas has come to the central New York area to look at them. and they're so excited that, I mean, I guess they're still peepable when they're on the ground. And actually, a lot of good leaf peeping, in my opinion, takes place on the ground. And so, like, those leaves just peeped themselves. But that's confusing because it's like a expression. I mean, I guess it's not confusing. Like, the essence of leaf peeping is something like joy and amazement and awe. And they're knowing that Antonio Banderas was going to have joy, amazement, and awe while he viewed them, made them go into a state of ecstasy because of awe, the beauty of Antonio Banderas' longing gaze. And the idea, like, I mean, I guess this is a very relatable thing. I may be like putting Antonio, I mean, even when I make him giggle, it makes me feel good on the inside. So when a leaf is like, I may put him in a state of awe or amazement. Like, he may go slack-jawed when he sees my natural beauty, and then the leaf falls off the tree. Now, great news for leaves everywhere, because this isn't, I'm not whatever. My leaf peeping happens everywhere, on the ground, in a pile, on the breeze. Somebody call Seuss and see if we could get that in the air, everywhere, leaf peeping. These leaves just... Anyway, thanks for listening. This is Scooter and Antonio Banderas, and this is Get Besos, Big Farm in the Sky, PI. Hey, Diane, it's me, Simon, recording, Diane, I don't have a lot of answers here, and I have a lot of questions, and I've got to go to my notebook. Okay, here's what I know. I'm by myself currently, Diane, recording and thinking and processing by talking to you. We went through the portal. I'm in Florida, Florida, in the towns or near the town. Well, still in the towns. I'm hiding a little bit or laying low. And so Lilith departed. We kind of, I mean, Lilith wanted to, do things in Florida and be a part of the whole post-earthly people going trick-or-treating. But Jiff was also with us, Diane, but he's not with me anymore. So the good news is Lilith's probably off having fun. The bad news is Jiff, I'm not sure what happened. Either Jiff got away or he became the guest of like a lot of groups, because it was like we came through the portal, and yeah, as we've always talked about, Diane, time works differently, but it's very chaos city. And here's what I've been able to gather so far. So the post-earthly things went a little bit, they've gone awry. So the post-earthly employees, I think they're split into more than one group, but the larger the group, or the one that's taking the most action, they originally were coming to just go trick-or-treating, and then they would have had to return to the conference. But everything kind of started to, Jiff had like some ulterior motives for the vote. People were unhappy with the vote. And they were like, we want to enjoy ourselves. They started to become aware, wait, we could just keep enjoying they've decided they're going to stay in Florida and become permanent residents, I guess eternal residents in this case, of the towns. And not only that, like they're going to, we kind of call it like, it's a little bit like twinning or is invisible friending. If your invisible friend gets to kind of, remember that movie? I don't remember the movie, Diane, but I know that it was Being John Malkovich. So I don't want to say that it's like that because I don't know if it is, but they become residents of the person kind of is like carrying them around. And it's a whole thing because it happens so much that the actual Florida residents of the town are aware of it. And they've contacted dustbusters, not just one group of dustbusters, but nationwide, professional dustbusters, amateur dustbusters, dust curious. They've also created a kind of cover story like sewer gas is typically one of the, they say, oh, no one can come in the town. We're having a problem with sewer gas everywhere. And everybody should stay around their house and not go trick-or-treating except for the people that are trick-or-treating. Also, you can't trick-or-treat more than 2 nights in a row, I guess. So that's another part of this. This will be like the 4th or 5th night they're trying to trick-or-treat. And then there's people within the post-earthly realm because, it's pretty clear. I don't even know. But my clear thing is I'm trying to sneak from the towns, which is... it's a gated community. It's for active lifestyle people over 55, Diane. But it's also very well gated from the outside world, even for dust. Like you amateur pro dustbusters, you really can't get in here. But they are waiting outside and analyzing. It's quite a buffer and a berm and everything. But G and DK, they live right outside of the towns, and I need to go see what's going on with them. I can't get a hold of them. And right now, that's my top priority is checking on G and DK. So I'm waiting. I've been watching a couple of groups of dustbusters, and they don't. The good news is, Diane, they don't have a way to charge their batteries. So because they're kind of in competition, the pros and the amateurs. I'm pretty sure this last group that has battery powered monitoring equipment is going to run out of batteries or gas, and then I'm actually going to get a ride with them, I'll be back. I'm going to check on G and DK. I'm sure I'm taking every precaution, so don't worry, Diane. All right, Diane, this is Simon back, and I went to G and DK's house. I don't know, I'm not feeling, so I have a note from G and DK, but it was written, either one of them has very good handwriting or printing, and normally it's not rushed, but there was a note, and their house just looked a little, or their place, their condo, looked a little, there's something off, Diane, is what I'm saying. My guts got me. And, but there's a note for me to meet them at the Trevi Steps, which is back in the towns. So I'm back in the towns. Well, right now, I guess that's leading you a little bit, Diane, because I'm also hiding again. But I'm trying to walk you through it in a way that sounds like like a story. But there was they wrote meet us at the Trevi Steps. Now then it wasn't. I said, wow, there's no time. G and DK wouldn't just give me a general message, but and it had this weird scrawl at the end. Okay. So the Trevi Steps, Diane, you might have said, no, it's the steps or the fountain. What's the Trevi Steps? But you wouldn't say that, Diane, because you're Diane. But I would say it because here in the towns, this was one of their newer things they had just launched, the Trevi Steps, which is a combination of the Spanish Steps, I think, and the Trevi Fountain. Though it's way more probably it has the world's largest probably the only, I don't even, and originally when it opened, it was the world's largest solar powered escalator, the only marble escalator, maybe something like that, Diane. But then the main person that runs the state politically said that the solar panels were causing daytime light pollution, and that then it couldn't be run on solar energy anymore. They come, working for some. They said, this is too much daytime. This is not fair to the residents to have daytime light pollution coming off the solar panels. So anyway, now there's shops, there's steps, but most people just take a marble escalator. It does have, it's not, is it skid proof or is this skid it's not slippery is what I'm saying. And then in the middle is the Trevi Fountain times 1,000. though it's very shiny. I say talk about like light pollution, this glistening marble, or I don't know if it's actually, I don't know if any of it's real marble, Diane, but it's very shiny and slick and very mythological. And I'm hiding in the fountain right now because two people are, so this was not a, luckily, you know, I already was like, something's going on, because I came over and I was trying to keep dodge dust busters, and there's these two groups, and then I realized, oh, they're looking and waiting for me here. One of the groups was waiting for me at the Trevi steps, and they're trying to take me. I don't know where. I'm not exactly sure what's going on or what their motivation is. But I've also been listening, Diane, and there's a great concern. One of the disagreements between the groups is that we're headed towards the first reboot in existence history, like a Big Bang 2.0 or Big Bang. And I don't know if we've ever covered this, Diane. I'm sure you're aware of it, but it would be like a full reset. And as far as I know, you know, I went into this working with Richie and James with the idea that the universe kept recovering despite all their messing around, and that it just proved the resilience of the universe, even when they caused other smaller reboots or whatever. This would be a full reset, Diane, or a Big Bang. I mean, no one would know it was Big Bang 2.0. Or whatever. I don't know. That's just a terminology, especially these groups are like, it's going to be a full reset. They're going to reset everything. And what that means is none of it, like, it'll restart everything, but everything, it's just like, reformatting a hard drive, I guess. Like, there won't be any of us, I won't be, so it would affect all post-earthly realms. All of resetting eternity. That sounds like, I don't know who wrote that book, but the big rebang. Somebody said, I said big rebang. Whose theory would that be? Okay, but I was hiding here, Diane. This is the last thing. So that was like, and I was wondering what to do. And then I realized, because I trusted G and DK. I knew they wrote the note, but I knew there was something else. Thank goodness I've learned to trust my gut through you, Diane. Okay, because my gut, Diane, told me there was a clue. Like, no, it didn't tell me that, but told me something was, it just, told me to pay attention. And then I was hiding in this fountain and looking at the fountain and how shiny it was. And what's this real marble? Passing the time, listening, hiding. And then I said, this is a lot. I said, they may have the record for number of tridents here too. Because I said, oh, is that Triton? The Tritons, I would say, Diane, if I was trying to crack a joke. This is trite. How many this is too many tridents make tridents trite. Try me. Do too many tridents makes tridents trident trite. Makes titans trident trite. That part works, Diane. But there's a lot of tridents. But then I said, oh, no, they're not all tridents. And I saw that G and DK had made a trident, but a V-style trident. Now, you should know that one of them works nearby off of the, one of these places on the Trevi steps, because it's lined with cafes and pubs, and it's kind of like being in a cruise ship that doesn't move, I guess, or a mall. I don't know, Diane, but... So I looked and I said, wait a second, trident actually has the V-shaped trident. Not some of these are two-dents or four-dents, So then I, wade my way, swim my, over to the Trident, and what do I find in the back? A Triton's head, stuck there, but a wet piece of paper, Diane. Wet piece of ripped paper. And I had to dry it out. Now, luckily, it was written in, clearly indelible ink. Very good ink. Eternal, I would say it was probably written in an eternal non-earthly ink. Eternal, E-N-E-I. Eternal non-earthly ink. But I didn't know it at the time, so I dried the paper out. Also, eternal non-earthly paper, which dries a lot faster. Can be ripped. It's the same as paper, dries faster. It doesn't deteriorate. It can be ripped, but it doesn't deteriorate, at least as far as I know. Just a couple, post-earthly office facts. What's P-E, post-earthly office, P-E-O-F, post-earthly office fact, yeah. I know you don't keep track of those, Diane, but maybe I'll give you a little mini guffaw. Okay, but so this was Jif's list. Now, it took me a while to figure that out, but because it's ripped and it's a list, but what helped me figure it out was the names on there and then pausing. Because at first I thought it was the ink. Once everything was dry, I said, "Does this really say this?" Shrift of Nodderingham. Shrift of Nodderingham. Willie Coyote. Fuddy. Let me see. Look, Diane, because I have it in a safe spot here. Oh, Spinny Doc, Fuddy Fudrucker, 10-gallon mustache. And I said, at first I thought it was like items, 10-gallon, what's a 10-gallon mustache? Okay. Fuddy Fudrucker. Is that the main character at the Fudrucker franchise? I thought there was only one or two of those left. That's on Scooter's bucket list. So Spinny Doc, Willie. Now, it took me a while to figure out it was Coyote, so that's a little bit of a hint. Because I said, what is that word? I thought it was cat. I had no idea, Diane. And then Shrift Nodderingham or something. Shrift Nodderingham. Okay, Diane. So eventually what I realized was these were fiction. So at least I had an awareness. Oh, these are fictional people. And then I said, oh, this is R.W. wrote this list. So then it became easy. I said, oh, this is part of Jif's list. This is clearly Richard Warren's writing and interpretation of fictional character. I'm surprised he even knew whoever that person was that I can't even remember now. These are, fictional beings, but some of them, or depending on how you define Shrift Nodderingham, are Toons. All of them have been Toons on some level at some point. So a lot of them are from one Toon universe. But it was also like, okay, G and DK somehow left this clue for me. That's what I'm operating on. Everybody's in costume. So my next move, Diane, is I'm going to get a costume. I said, I'll put a costume on. Why didn't I think of that? I still have my costume on from the costume contest. Kind of made it, now I don't, but because I've been in the water for like however many hours. It doesn't bother me, clearly. I'm post-earthly, but so I'm going to get a costume. Then I'm going to go look for anyone dressed in any of those costumes. And then I'll be back with you, Diane. Okay, Diane, it's me. I'm back. And I'm about to go in somewhere, but let me walk you through how I got to where I'm going to go in. It was through frustration, Diane. Now I got a costume. In respect to this, I got I was like, should I dress as a bunny? And then I said carrot. So I'm dressed as a carrot. Also reminds me of this sketch comedy I liked. But then I said he was dressed as a hot dog in that sketch, not a carrot. But I thought he was dressed as a carrot for a while. But so I'm dressed as a carrot, and makes it easy. I mean, as long as I stay in the towns, the conflict is still building, between outside and inside the towns. So I went and I tried to get the trick-or-treaters but that didn't work. And I got really frustrated, and I yelled out Toons, and I was yelling out Toons like I was saying letters like DARN, stronger than that. Sorry, Diane. I may have got disconnected from you there. I had to. Believe it or not, it's the first time I clearly ran out of tape. But when I was telling you, Diane, is that I was very upset with the concept of Toons. And I was vehemently, stomping my feet, steam coming out my ears, saying Toons with other 4-letter words, Diane. And where do I go from here? So someone sounds like you're really, what are you yelling about Toons for? And I said, well, I'm trying to find Toons. So still not myself, Diane. I did not pause. And I was saying, man, what is it, Toons? And they said, you can find Toons right on your dial, your FM or AM dial. WTUN Toons, the sounds of the towns, man. And I said, I'm sorry, what? They said WTUN tune, tons of tunes from all the ones you remember. The sounds of the towns. It's the W-Tune, the radio station. One day I hope to be, and they kept talking. And again, it still was not myself, but, since I like, don't you know I'm saying Toon, tune. So I wasn't listening to them, but then I started listening to them again because they said since everything's gone strange here, there's somebody, like, things have gone strange on W-Tune, the tune, the sounds of the town. And so I said, I'm sorry. What did you say? And they said everything's gone strange on there. Somebody's on there running this. They're not playing any tunes anymore. So that's what I thought you were upset about. The lack of tunes on the lack of tunes on the tune, the radio station. And I said, what do you mean about the lack of the tunes on the tune? And they said, there's just somebody on there, a sheriff of Nodderingham or something going on. And I said, wait a second, what? And they said, there's been like a 86-hour op-ed from the sheriff of Nodderingham. They keep saying they're going to play music, but they keep talking about, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. It's like some sort of one of those radio stations where the guy just riffs on and on and on. I mean, I think there was one in New York that's pretty good, but it's hard to be good at that. Almost like one of those sleep podcasts, but different because it's not meant to sleep to. And I said, give me your, and they said, what do I look like? I carry a radio on me? And I said, where can I find this case? And they said, on the radio. I said, where? Didn't you say you want to be do that? And they said, oh, yeah, down at the town studios. That's where they have the television station. You could film stuff there. There's an animation studio, all sort. And I said, wait a second, there's an animation studio? Well, they do animation classes, mostly on computers nowadays. And I said, which way? So anyway, Diane, this is my next piece of information is this Toons. So I finally got a radio and I listened in. And I did listen to the op-ed, Diane. I guess I forgot what I was talking about, but this sheriff of Nodderingham is very unhappy with Jiff, and he's called. So this is part of this chaos on the outside. He's calling for post-earthly, like a deviation from any plans involving Jiff, and laying out a pretty clear case of promises. And let me see if I can explain what I've heard so far, Diane, in a way that is sensible. Also, I know G and DK are guests there, and so that's so he's saying that Jiff asked them met the sheriff of Nodderingham and some of the other characters that were listed that are Toons. And this was a Toon version. I'm not quite clear on Jiff's motives, but the motives of these fictional characters that were now called into existence, and they were made aware. So Jiff is using RW's approach in some sense. He did explain to them that seemed unfair. Is that now? None of them. I'm not sure. Because you think about aging, right? You say, okay, any of those characters. Like, how do you say that it's time if they're fictional? So to go back to Inspector Javert, right? Inspector Javert in the story changes realms. As far as I know, in the Toon versions, Sheriff of Nodderingham, Willie, Cactus Willie or whatever, that chases birds, the bird chasing Willie. Also, there's other bird chasers. And Spinny, the other people on RW's list who are now officially in existence. They weren't ever as characters. They didn't transmit realms. So Jiff used this lack of knowledge with RW. RW assumed that at some point, probably due to, time passing, they said, okay, it's time for me to pass over realms. I guess somewhat sensible, but Jiff said, hey, well, this is interesting because, we're working with these post-earthly realms, wondering what your main concerns are for it, because they could really use your help. And they said, well, what's in it for us? And just said, well, realm where you're successful, because clearly you're not being successful here. I can give you access to that realm because you kind of have been not successful. All of you share one. And at first they took objection. They said, no, eventually we will be. And Jiff said, maybe you're already in a post-earthly existence. And they said, what do you mean? And Jiff said, I can give you, if you want to, catch some birds and hang out with some birds, you want to deal with the robin, the giver of coin. If you want to spin and hang with bunnies that like to eat carrots, or, all those things that Jiff says, I can arrange that. This is all what I've deduced, Diane, from listening to this radio station. Very R-A-N, he's really going, it's a bit like a door without hinges, you know. So Jiff promised him that and then said, hey, if you do these things, now I don't know they weren't listing them, but G and DK were one of the last things. I need you to go get G and DK, because they said, what do you want us to go get some young adults from outside the towns? Well, they worked it out to get them into the towns, but they said, Jiff said, this is your area of expertise. And yeah. And now I think Jiff also knew that the realms, you know, moving between realms there's not a state of permanence, right? So apparently they said, fine, but we're only going to intervene with this. They've done other work for Jiff since this whole thing began. And they really wanted to get to the realm and catch whatever they were catching, right? And what they found out, because they've been communicating, the sheriff was like, well, why don't I go last? Since I'm he's a bit of a RW, you know, he's like, why don't I make sure? He was unsure, so he sent everybody else first to the next realm. The successful Toons, successful over Trickster's realm, I'll call it, Diane. He was calling it something else. I said, oh, okay. So he's referring to a realm where Toons or Toon foils are successful. Turns out, Diane, surprise, surprise. I mean, you're not surprised, Diane. Very unfulfilling. Absolutely. It's kind of like going to the beige realm after you have a nice dinner. You have a nice dinner. Not that anyone was having dinner, Diane. I don't want you to think that. But they all got what they wanted, which was only one thing, thinking that would fulfill them. And, of course, as we learn time and time again with this stuff, Diane, not you know, but the after post-earthly existences are not result-based as much as you want to think they are. And so, but it's kind of even not as good. Kind of like why RW, because RW had some knowledge that of a fancier existence and then was in the beige realm, so he's constantly trying to get away. These Toons immediately get to their next stage of existence, achieve success. Probably not great news for post-earthly realms with like those characters that they achieve success over. Diane, I don't want to get into that. I'm only laughing because it's like I shouldn't be laughing, so that's why I'm laughing, Diane. So what was I saying? So they don't like it because it's like they literally have nothing to do. No longer they have the rival game. So I'm going to go in there and talk to, I mean, it seems like I've got I've got a couple options, and so I'll be back, Diane. All right, Diane, I'm back, and G and DK say hello. Great news. G and DK say hello. So that's good. And we're here at the radio station, and we're trying to figure out, because this radio station, I think we could probably use this because it has so many things, or maybe not, but it's got a kitchen, it's got supplies, cafe. We didn't really need any equipment. G and DK are because they're using the radio. We're testing out, like, pretending, sending out information on the radio to earthly humans, post-earthly humans, and Jiff, though I can't quite do the Sheriff of Nottingham's voice. Okay, but so I talked to the sheriff, old Nodderingham, and I went in the radio station, and I said, hey, I'm a post-earth, what's going on here? This Jiff sounds like a real character. And I said, tell me more. I've been listening to you for whatever, 2 or 3 days. So it wasn't totally honest, Diane, at first, or somewhat dishonest. And they said, yeah, do you believe this? Like, blah, blah. And I said, oh, yeah, tell me more. Oh, wow, I could see that it's really bugging you. And what's going to happen for you, right? Your friends here. I mean, you know, this isn't a good idea. These two earthly humans, they're probably just they said, yeah, so it was like, oh, you're no longer trying to catch Robin, now you're trying to catch Jiff. And I said, then I came clean somewhat. I said, hey, well, believe it or not, I'm working with someone that's we're trying to get Jiff and have a stern talking to. And also, by the way, avoid total reset, because everything he was espousing on the radio was would lead to total reset, in my opinion. So first I didn't have a solution. Luckily, G and DK were there, and we were able to kind of do some, but so first I said, hey, do you know what a total reset is? They're going to reboot, and they didn't really have a reference for it. Lo and behold, G and DK do the racer symbol. So we go over to, now luckily, this was hard because it was computers, and I said, well, I'll just erase some stuff. And they said, what are you erasing words? I don't understand. But we were able to get on the Tubes use and look up, there used to be this Disney animated tour where Robin Williams was playing someone. I think that was it. And then they showed how an eraser worked, or maybe it was some other Disney thing with tune related. And then I kind of said, we could watch some other things, and we kind of showed them, and they said, that's like the whole of existence. And they said, wait a second, what? Now, Sheriff of Nodderingham, just because people think they're smarter than everybody doesn't mean they are smarter than everybody, but also doesn't mean they're not intelligent either. So he had a reasonable amount of intelligence, and he said, wait a second, so if I never exist, I never existed. If Jiff or RW don't exist, then I don't exist. I don't even go from. And he said, what are we going to do? And also, what are we going to do? This is now that I know about our situation in this post-earthly thing, maybe this reboot erasing us is better anyway. And I said, no. When we're talking about timelessness, and this is where I think RW went, we got to find a way to redirect this energy again. And I told him about Inspector Javert, and he related greatly, obviously, to Inspector Javert. And I said, the thing was, Inspector Javert was already immortal. And I said he was already timeless. He was already in his state of permanence. There's nothing more permanent than art. And they said, well, could we get it? I said, in a sense, and if these levels of existence are real, which clearly you're real right now, and your desire to help your fellow Toons is real because you feel a deep emotional and maybe even spiritual connection to them, you want to help them, and then you thought they would get what they wanted and they'd be happy, but they're not. But maybe taking the knowledge, and maybe this is the secret knowledge you only needed, that you do serve a purpose here in our world that is timeless, that is permanent, and that by being in your world, in your activity-based, and yes, frustrating, I would not say futile, now that you know the results, that you are art. And then by the way, Diane, we also watched Roger Rabbit. I forget in there, because time's different, but I said, see this, the goop or whatever. I said, this is the same thing. just gave us more stuff, really great access to this multimedia library here at this Toons Studios, but not Toon Studios. So we became friends and eventually said, okay, so I just got to explain it to, but also I said, we can get them out of these false, I said, because Jif's up to something that's not permanent, that is an exchange of work and goods and value. And they said, isn't that what art is? I said, yeah, but the result of art is different. And I said, I don't know. I don't know the answers. I just know that I think like you going back to doing what you do isn't a non-positive post-earthly realm. But maybe it takes knowing in your heart of hearts. I don't know if this is what it's like for Moriarty in The Drive, or now the spandex wearer, but that you are important, that you do serve a purpose, even when you're frustrated. And it seems like you never quite, Robin always wins. So Robin, that you are serving a purpose. And you're timeless, or at least you could think about it, right? And we could, because we're still going to work together, we got to figure out, RW and James are going to probably be here soon. But, because they also had the rest of Jif's list, which I guess at this point we had bigger concerns than Jif's list or RW's list that Jif had. And I said, okay, we're going to figure this out, or we can't. I'm kind of like you. And then I said, hey, we could share this. I work for this guy, RW. No matter what I do right now, RW is going to come in and change things around. But I know we all want what's best for everybody within a possibility. Whether you're a Toon, whether you're an earthbound human that lives in the towns, or like G and DK live outside the towns, whether you're whether you're employee of the, I don't know if employee is the right word. We want what's best for everybody, kind of. Of course, we get mixed up, but I think you were where you were always supposed to be, and your friends too. And so let's get them out of there, and let's get this figured out. And he said, great. And I said, great too. And then we all took a nap here, and we're staying here and sleeping. We got cots set up, watch a lot of stuff, and getting to know these Toons. So I don't know, Diane, if I'll have another update, or if RW will take over for me from here. But I feel like we're close. It's either, if we get rebooted, Diane, it's been great. Because it's still, even if we get rebooted, I get the idea that still served a purpose. All right, Diane, good night. All right, but this is Scoots with a tuck you in message at the end of the shows we do. And this time I'm going to ask questions because since April of 2025, we've been trying to look at I don't know, what I'm doing is not working, so I'm trying to change what I'm doing, I guess. So I've been trying to get some questions together, and you could answer these questions or not. You don't need to. Or these ones are kind of just, hey, if you just happen to be listening in. But I'm here to listen to those answers, and you could answer those if you happen to want to tomorrow or even tonight at sleepwithmepodcast.com/listen. So, yeah. And this will help me understand, especially people that have been listening longer than 6 months, have been listening longer than a year, have been listening longer than 3 years. People that listen most nights, or listen all night long, or fall asleep fast, or you've been listening so long that everything kind of blends together. You're like, I don't even know how long I've been listening. So one question would be like, when you press play with Sleep With Me at bedtime, what's something you hope doesn't happen? Like, I don't know if it's like, that you don't, doesn't start you thinking about more, or that the night doesn't feel as long, or that you don't feel alone, or the physical sensations you don't feel, or the thoughts, or the feelings you don't come up, or it could be something else. I mean, something more specific, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's just not words for it. And what does Sleep With Me replace for you? Like, what did you used to use? Or what does it fill in? Does it fill in silence in the room? Like a TV that used to be on, or something, a show you used to stream? Does a show Sleep With Me replace your thoughts? Like a train of thoughts you got to go on a ride with. Does it replace, something that helps you rest? And then I guess, I'm curious, if you do hear the requests for support and the kind of varying degrees of feeling I have when I'm making those messages, right? And maybe they kind of slide by or slip past you. I want to know more about that. So when you do hear those messages, if you do, what thoughts or feelings come up? Is it something like, I'll do this later, or someone else probably has it covered, or you don't need my support, or I don't want to think about that right now, doing something or paying for something or taking any steps? Or is it like, that's just not for me. I'm not a person that supports podcasts, or that doesn't sound like something I want to do or need to do. Okay, and then if you are one of those people that says, yeah, I'll do it later, what does later mean for you, right? Is it later, and this is one that comes up in my personal life, there'll be a better time in my life later for this. My life will be more calm, or I'll be more, these are my words that I use for internally, not for you, but I'll be more emotionally able to handle that later, or I'll remember later, or maybe I'll be sleeping better and I won't need to do it later, or maybe my sleep, maybe my life will be less full later. And then another question is, if you've ever looked at joining Sleep With Me Plus and thought, I don't need more, or the free show always works for me, so what else would I need? I'm curious about that, what the more might be. Does it sound like more work or more effort? Does it sound like you'd have to do something or manage something new? Does it sound like a change to a routine that's already kind of working that you don't want to mess up? Because I can't keep doing, I've got to change around the messaging around the show, even if it doesn't end up working out, because it's just, I want to be closer to the listeners I have, and I don't want to expend so much time and energy keeping the show going, or with my concerns around that it makes it impossible to make the show anyway, almost. It's kind of gotten to this point where it's like a conundrum, I guess. So I want to move to getting to know things better, and then trying to do some things in a different way. I don't know if a more holistic way is the right way to say it, but so yeah, that's what kind of those questions are about, is me kind of understanding more, listening. And most of the questions will have open-ended answers too. So if you want to do that, you can fill, I got a survey. I don't know if it has all those questions on there, but sleepwithmepodcast.com/listen. Or if this kind of pushed you over the edge, you could always support the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, but I think it'll say that at listen anyway. And again, there's no rush or requirements. it's just, this way of like, I want to keep making this podcast, ideally for a long, long time in the future. And most of our funding comes through like 80% of the way we pay our bills is by listener support. But I want people to feel welcome, right? And it's kind of gotten to this point where it's like, I'm so I think I already said though, it's like I'm so concerned with keeping the show going, it's almost making it possible to keep it going and maybe pushing people away, which I don't want to do. Because, again, my goal this year is not just to keep the podcast sustainable. It's to bring sleepy joy and delight. So I'm hoping I could do both those things together somehow. So I'm hoping, some of this idea of listening and getting to know. And if you are, the thing is, and it's also no pressure, like if you can't support the show, or you decided when we did it last year, you were like in the group of listeners like, no, I don't want to support the show ever. That's great because we like, it's the people that I've never heard from, right, that I'm trying to get to understand better this time, who are like in a position where they can support the show. And it's just like, I don't know. So anyway, thanks so much for listening. And if you're new or occasional listener or, you already decided not to support the show, you're not in a position to support the show, thanks, because you're taken care of. And I think probably me getting through this phase of the show will positively impact your show, because I know when I'm really feeling it, like I'm really you know what I mean? You could hear it in the tone of my voice on some of those reads. And I don't know, I'm trying to find a better way to move forward with the show. And I guess I apologize when it's like, I don't know, everything's kind of intertwined. So I wish there was an easier, perfect way to do all this. So I guess I'm going to try this way and see how it goes. Thanks.